Welcome, everybody. Conversations with Amy and myself, Ken. We've got a real treat for you today. Important topic. We want to dive into how to put your subconscious to work for you while you're sleeping. That's right. You heard me right. You can actually solve problems, get insights, gain wisdom while you're sleeping. And we're going to focus on a very famous technique. It's a brilliant, one of my favorites. I know in our family it's a favorite to go to, the glass of water technique, and some of the key aspects why that works and the science behind it, not just the metaphysics behind that. So, Amy, let me lead in, and then how about then you give your take,
You
different
got it.
ideas and aspects of that. So those of you who've been studying the Silva Method, if you've read any of the Silva books, like this baby here, little shameless product placement, all kidding aside, it's a great book, self-development. Whether you're ever interested in taking the coursework or not, this will teach you tools, techniques. It's structured. It's not quite like the class, but it definitely has good value in there for you. Anyway, it's a technique that we've been teaching since 66, and that is at night before you go to sleep, you're drinking half a glass of water. Now, this is not the place for us to teach the technique. We teach that in the class, it's in the book. But what we'd like to really zero in on is why this beautiful, phenomenal technique works about that. So basically, you need to have a clear intention. What is it you want? What are you striving toward? And then you need to identify the challenge, the difficulty, the problem, the confusion. If you feel stuck, and why is that important? Because the more you think about it, the more you think about it, and the more you think about it, it's called analysis paralysis. Can you relate, my friends? Have you been there? I know I have, and I see Amy's
I
nodding.
have.
She's been there more often than we both want to admit with that. So part of what you're doing is at night, you're getting ready for sleep. And when we go to sleep, we're not thinking consciously. We are literally in the zone, in the field, what's become known as the field of possibilities. We are the original Silva Method alpha theta training. And you can see behind me the chart depicting that while we are sleeping, our brainwaves slow down and we are altering our consciousness. We are what psychologists for ages have called in the subconscious. We call it an inner conscious state because it's not hidden, it's not dark, it's not something mysterious. We can consciously attune to it, and then it becomes an inner conscious state. But the point is, when what we give attention to, we give energy to. Whatever we give energy to will grow and multiply. So if we go to bed in anger, in confusion, in upset, that's fear mode. We're we're going to exacerbate it. We're going to inadvertently give energy to it and mentally rehearse it. So we identify it, not wallow in it. We have a clear intention what we want. We want to be clear. We want to understand what's my next best move or course of action.
Mhm.
And we're drinking the water, which is close to us for survival. We need water. Water is a highly changeable substance with this. And you're drinking it from a glass, not plastic, better, ideally glass, because clear glass has a molecular structure. But here's the point that I wanted my take on it. When you do that and you go off to sleep, you're surrendering. You're letting go. Obsessive thinking doesn't work. Obsessive thinking comes from fear, produces anxiety, and puts us into survival mode, and the brain takes over, and then there's no growth, there's no inspiration, there's no accessing your intuition. It's all about survival and security. And that, my friends, is also why people are not manifesting what they want, even when they use a tool like the mirror of the mind, because they're doing it with fear. They're doing it in desperation mode. So when you go to sleep with that clear intention, you're releasing it. Depends on your point of view, to the universe, to your inner conscious state, to God, to the field of possibilities. And you allow, while in this natural state, your dreams, your thoughts, because that happens anyway. The dominant thoughts of the day, and especially at night, are integrated into our dreams. So you're literally giving yourself, your mind, a suggestion, a thought, a clear intention, what you want. Then first thing, you've also got the desire because it's the last thing you're thinking of. And then first thing in the morning, you repeat it, looking for that. So the point I wanted to make, Amy, and those of you kind enough to be watching the video, is the importance of letting go, of releasing. And I mean, you do something, you have a plan, but then you got to let it take root. You've got to let it be absorbed, be integrated.
Mhm.
So I know you're
Absolutely.
patiently.
Well, while you were saying that, it actually reminded me of something you say in class. When I have reviewed the many times, um, with when we are learning something, when we are working on something, no matter what it is, there really needs to be that period of rest, so that, just like you said, so that it can take growth. And I remember in class, you say, hey, when you're planting something, if you're a gardener or, you're planting some herbs, you plant some seeds, and you're super excited, okay, planting the seeds. And right now it's just, you just see the soil. Are you going to every morning go in, go to the little pot that you planted your seeds in, dig it up and say, okay, how's everything going? And, I've spit on it a little bit and put it back. Is it ever going to grow? It's not. It won't if you do not allow it to really to rest. And that's with everything. If you think about, in terms of gardening and just how we get our food, there's got to be some time for things to take root, to grow, to manifest, and then you harvest it. And so that is really what is, I think, behind glass of water. And what is really cool about glass of water, so just like when we take deep breaths, just deep belly breaths, that's a pattern interrupter for stress. It allows ourselves rather to reset. That is the same when we drink water. When we drink water, it is a way for us to reset back to homeostasis. And a lot of times, if you're feeling stressed or you may be upset and you're talking to someone, they may offer you a glass of water. There's a reason behind that. It allows you to take a moment to surrender, to rest, to have that water, and it can be energized. So it's like having a personal assistant come in and you say, hey, I'm working on this problem, can you go find me all of these resources? And you send them out into the world and you say, come back to me tomorrow with what you find out. That's what we're doing with the glass of water, because we have so much information stored within us, things that we are not aware of. And when we go to those inner conscious states at night, then we're accessing those. We're telling the water, hey, help us figure this out. And we're releasing it. We're allowing it to take root. And also, we are going to bed in a state of relaxation versus a state of stress. So if we're resting, if we're restoring, if we're rejuvenating both physically and mentally, the energy that we go to bed with is the energy, the gas that we're putting into our body to do all of those restoration functions. So it is a lovely, lovely technique.
I want to add something. Amy, I'm smiling over here. This is a lot of fun doing this together since we started this project. Uh, you must be psychic because I'm thinking energizing. You are literally, it's like when you eat. We all know it's not a good idea to eat when you're angry or upset because food, water, things we put into our body are energizing, are fuel for our emotional, which affects our physical makeup. So that's a part of Amy saying being in a relaxed state. You're energizing the water, so to speak. We need water. It's water in a sense at a molecular level, we believe, becomes a carrier of that information. What I also like to add is I mean, we could go on and we won't.
I
And that
know.
is, you have everything. You're graced with your presence, everything you need. You have this wisdom within you. We all have access to the fields of possibilities. We all have incredible human potential. I know sometimes it's hard to believe because we get stuck or we get stressed out. It's being in survival mode, it's being in stress mode that holds us back. So it's not magic. It's what Amy just said. You have this inner wisdom within you. We have access. And what happens when you use a technique like this is you invariably have an insight, a flash of insight, or you have what I call a synchronicity, not what I call, but it's called the synchronicity.
Hmm.
Funny you bring that up. I was thinking the same thing. And sometimes you laugh. It's been there all along, but you never noticed it. But when you're clear about your intention, what you want, and you get into a relaxed state, you're more likely to notice you, what's there already and or to access your own inner wisdom. And also this idea of, excuse me, not digging it up. Um, that it's also why surrendering, and I don't mean giving up. Serenity doesn't mean giving up. It means do your work, do the inner work, give it as much fuel. If you're watering your plants, you give it as much water as it needs, no more. If it needs some nutrients, some nutrients. But if you give it too much, it's going to die. It's the same thing. If people become obsessed with their programming, like holoviewing, dream control, work similar to a glass of water, the alternative. The Silva program, we teach over 15 different techniques and tools to harness your human potential, to help you solve problems, make wiser decisions. This is just one small sample. However, in all of them, a big part of it, like Amy so clearly, as you said, Amy, is about this idea of not digging it up,
Hmm.
allowing it to germinate, allowing it to integrate, and for that. And the last thing I would say is we want to stop pushing, stop pushing.
Hmm.
But he'll knock, the door opens, you enter. And that's part of what you're doing, letting go. So you want to add
It
anything
is.
more before we sign off?
I do. All of the tools that we teach, it doesn't necessarily make us um, immune to the challenges of life that come up because things are going to happen. Stress is going to happen. The unexpected is going to happen. I know, as we said at the beginning, it happens for both of us. It happens for really all of us. And ultimately, what these tools help us do, what these exercises that we learn to help integrate them into our being is to say, okay, a challenge has come up, the unexpected has come up, and instead of staying there and worrying about it, we can acknowledge it and, hey, we've got a tool that we can use to then move on from it or take a few steps away from it so that we stay out of stress mode and can release it more uh, and and be open to solutions that come in so that we can keep taking steps uh, towards solving it or towards steps of just moving away from the challenge. So I just wanted to add
You know, it's a
those
great
things.
addition. When I hear you saying your mind, we bounce off each other. If you haven't noticed, watching the videos with that is you identify and you stop thinking about it. You give it a chance to rest. You don't want to ruminate over it or start worrying about it or let the monkey brain take over with
Yeah.
that. So, by the way, this is Amy Schneider, who is Silva Extraordinary Instructor, certified instructor with decades, decades of experience using these tools in her life. She teaches in Atlanta and in Northwestern North Carolina. She's become a dear friend of us and of the family. And she also has been teaching for well over 5 years in the Atlanta area, although she has tons of experience. You can see my name's Ken Coscia. I'm the lead instructor, the training director for the organization. Um, also, I used to be the youngest on the planet. Now I'm the oldest in experience. There are still a couple in the world who are older than me, although unfortunately many of them were much older and have left. Anyway, If you're still here watching this video, good for you. If you found this helpful or insightful, please share it with somebody you know could benefit from this, could find value in this. And thank you again for watching. Till the next time, take care, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.